Hey everybody, First Alert Meteorologist Bob Trihy here. Hope you braved the blizzard of 26. Okay, boy, what a whopper of a storm we've seen. But now that blizzard is out of the picture, and now we're pretty much dealing with the aftermath of this blizzard. And boy, did it put down a lot of snow. About 10 to 20 inches is what we saw across the area. Rehoboth, wow, almost 20 inches for you, 19.5, with Bethel and Georgetown checking in with 19 inches. Selbyville, 18 and a half. We had Lewis at 18 inches. Dover, farther north, 16 inches, and the list goes on. In Gumboro, 15 and a half inches. Harrington, 14.3. Millsboro has an updated total of 14 inches, and Dagsboro the same. Ocean City, 10 and a half inches, and Seaford at least 8 inches, maybe close to 10 inches there. And look at these peak wind gusts. These winds were just howling around this storm that was as deep as a tropical storm or a hurricane. We had central pressure that was as low as 966 millibars. You have a home barometer, and you see how low that is, and this was an incredible storm once that low hit the ocean. Indian River Inlet had a gust of 59 miles per hour. Lewis had a peak gust of 58. With Indian Beach at 55, Ocean City had a gust of 52, Salisbury had a gust of 49, and Georgetown 40 miles per hour. That was likely during that 8 to 10 p.m. time period last night when this storm was just raging over the top of us. But right now it's much quieter. This storm is now long gone. It's off the coast of southeast New England now, so we're left with clouds and kind of the aftermath of the blizzard, the heavy wet snow. Our tunnel and razor cam right now, it's cloudy in Lewis and 37 degrees. Here's a view from Ocean View on the gutter helmet cam. We're looking at overcast skies and 35. So temperatures are above freezing, and we are melting that snow. And as we talked about, this snow is loaded with moisture. It's that quote unquote heart attack snow. So if you're not used to exercising a lot, don't just jump out there and start shoveling right away, because that could cause health problems. So really be careful out there. Now, here's our live radar, and we have maybe just some lingering snow showers. Now, the radar is indicating some rain showers around the eastern shore through Denton, northern Sussex County, and Kent County. That could be a little bit of rain shower activity, but I think a lot of this is snow flurry activity. This is kind of like the last gasp of this system. But the storm itself is way off to our north and east. In fact, off of Cape Cod right now, and look at that rotation. That almost looks like a hurricane there that's spinning east of Cape Cod. That is the historic storm that dumped upwards of 2 to 3 feet of snow. My old stomping grounds where I grew up on Long Island, they had close to 30 inches on the south shore of Long Island, and really tremendous snows back on into New Jersey. For us, once again, we picked up about 10 to 20 inches of very heavy, wet snow. And once again, there's still some lingering snow showers and snow flurries, but the bulk of the accumulating snow is now over. So we'll do a little tour across Sussex County. We still have the cloud cover, maybe a few snow showers back through Bridgeville, American Corner, and Point South. Otherwise, for all intents and purposes, this system has moved out and we are done. But just really be careful out there because we have a level 3 travel advisory. It's best not to travel in these kind of conditions. I'll have more on that coming up. In the meantime, our current wind gusts are around 20 to 30 miles per hour, gusting to 32 at Indian River Inlet, 24 in Georgetown. So not as windy as last night, obviously, with that blizzard, but it's still breezy out of the northwest, and that could cause some flooding in the back bays at time of high tide. Temperatures now 35 in Georgetown, 36 in Long Neck, 36 in Gumboro. So you can see most of us are 3 to 5 or 6 degrees above freezing. So we are melting some of that snow. And there's that coastal flood advisory that is in effect for Kent and Sussex counties, and that goes until 5 p.m. this evening. Once again, we could see water rises of 1 to 2 feet at time of high tide, especially on some of those back bays. Do want to mention that blizzard warning was allowed to expire. That happened about an hour ago, and so did the winter weather advisory that was in place across the eastern shore and Point South. So we could see minor to moderate flooding for some of those back bays once again as we go through the high tide cycle into this evening. And you know who you are, those typical low spots with a strong northwest wind. You might see 1 to a foot and a half of inundation with water at time of high tide, some low-lying areas and some tidal waterways, but it looks like that chance continues to decrease. As I was coming into work this morning, boy, was it treacherous out there. As I mentioned earlier, we had and still have a level 3 travel advisory. That means really only essential personnel should be on the ground because it is an emergency situation. I was driving around some downed trees on the roads. The roads are still very slushy, and some of them, the crews are still getting to them. So once again, it's best to stay off the roads. Avoid travel if you can, as the snow is winding down early this afternoon. I think we're going to be still seeing wind gusts maybe close to 40 miles per hour. I think over 50, I think we're okay there. I think it's going to be less than that, but still some blowing and drifting snow. And we have that back-breaking snow. It is just so heavy. So if you get out there, you start shoveling, it's really heavy, you're not feeling well, make sure you take a break or at least go inside. Just cease what you're doing, and if it gets worse, make sure you call 911 and try to get to the emergency room. But really be careful out there. It's very heavy snow. And we still have that coastal flood advisory. Once again, some of the back bays will see a little bit of a water rise as we go into the afternoon and evening hours. But once again, for all intents and purposes, we're done with this. The snow is done. The strong gusty winds are done as well, but it's still going to be breezy this afternoon. Here's Futurecast at 6 p.m. Now, we're still above freezing. You can see temperatures are in the mid-30s. Keep in mind, whatever's melting, slush or standing water will freeze solid as we go through the overnight, because by 1:30, yeah, temperatures are about 5 degrees below freezing. So we're going to have a problem Tuesday morning with refreeze and black ice at that time. By 7 a.m., it's cold. We're looking at temperatures in the low to mid-20s, and we're melting a little bit of snow as we go into the afternoon tomorrow, barely above freezing. But then I think as we go into Wednesday, which, look at this, more rain and snow. Well, it's not a big deal. We're looking at a clipper-like system that could bring a little bit of rain and snow Wednesday morning. Once again, just kind of a nuisance situation. Then I think we'll start to warm things up as we go into the afternoon. Look at that, some low 50s, upper 40s. So we're going to start to melt more of this snow as we head into the midweek time period and later in the week. As far as the wind gust, still looking at gusts around 25 to 30 miles per hour as we go into the middle part of the afternoon, and still gusty winds as we go into this evening. So those winds coupled with temperatures in the low to mid-30s, we're talking about feels like temperatures into the 20s, and we're looking at gusty winds still continuing as we go into Tuesday morning. So the next 3 days, conditions do improve as far as melting more of that snow. We're looking at 34 on Tuesday with partly cloudy skies. And then as we go into Wednesday, this is when the snow melt will accelerate. We're looking at 46 degrees on Wednesday with some morning showers, maybe a little bit of snow shower activity. Once again, this is just kind of a nuisance system, a clipper-like system, and then another chance of rain as we go into Thursday, and a temperature of 47 degrees there, and then maybe even more significant rain by Friday. Let's hope we don't get a lot of rain too soon, because then we could have some flooding concerns. But all in all, we are done with this system, and we're happy that you joined us on the live feed. And for coverage of the storm, for ongoing coverage of the storm, make sure you check us out at 5 for Coast TV News. Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams will have much more on the aftermath of the blizzard, and we'll have continuing coverage all across the region on how people fared through the big storm. Thanks for joining us. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Bob Trihy. Have a great day.